Hey, Nick here. Welcome to day 48 of the Playbook project, where we're starting a software company in 100 days. And so we have our software loaded up on a staging server where we're at today. And basically, I'm going to show you the initial, what a lot of our initial work that we've done to the software, the area of the software that we've been focused on. There's a lot of changes that need to happen here. But I'm going to create a process example. Let's just say we're a real estate management company and we want to do an apartment checkout. For purposes of this, I'll just add that. You can see there's a little form validation. The due date needs to change. Need to refactor this. It's not a fixed due date. It's going to be more of a, how many days from the time that which this process was activated. And so here I already have tags in my account for Harvest Profit, which is our software company. So we'll just add a tag for property management. So we have that tag. We assign an employee, save the changes. These buttons need to be redesigned and refactored. So I'll add that as a to-do. A lot of little to-dos we're going to add here. So we create the process. So we will potentially, we're adding a task. Maybe it's something like customer details. We will include customer details here from potentially an API. So we save that. And then we have, let's just do a kitchen inspection. So we're going to add a component to this that's, let's do a linear scale. So we're going to say cleanliness of the kitchen, 0 to 5, very poor, great. So the user will be able to select what the cleanliness of the kitchen is. And so then we'll add, a file upload a picture if needed. We'll make this one, we'll make the linear scale, the cleanliness of the kitchen to be required. Then we'll add another component for, let's just pick a, we're going to set up a drop down. Does it need supplemental cleaning? Yes, no. So then we have our, that is what our task is comprised of. So we have to pick out on a 1 to 5 scale what the cleanliness is. We can upload a picture. We'll have a drop down here for does it need supplemental cleaning, and just showing off the top of my head here. Some of the stuff I've added to our Basecamp is we need to make these drag and drop. We need to be able to drag and rearrange these, given that we're going to be switching away from the A/B decision fork here. We need to shrink the screen, so we need the actual task workflow, process workflow to take up less space. We need to have more space to the task details. And so there's tons and probably going to be at least 100 little UI changes we're going to have to make. Hopefully, most of them are 15-minute updates, so we can hammer through them before we get a product in the market. So we're going to save that, and so then we have another task down below. We can add another task here if we wanted to. Add a decision. So I'll just show you how the decisions were working. So let's just say a full refund due to tenant. Yes, no. So then we'd have these two forks here that we could go down with tasks. Because I talked about before, what we're going to go with is a more flexible conditional logic where you have tasks that are shown and tasks that are hidden, and then based on the individual answers to the questions within the task forms, they hide or show the tasks. And so that is really what we're looking at here. Is we've spent probably about a good month building out the back end, the GraphQL API queries, the front end of this task creation and the process creation, the process of creating a process template. That is what we've been focusing most of the last month on. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going back to Basecamp. I'm going to Basecamp, and I'm just adding a number of to-dos. And so here we have, just focusing on one specifically, we're going to add action task to the task creation description. And I'll change this because we're going to also add it to the process task and process template. And then I'll assign the developer, I'll add notes, and let's see how many tasks I have here. So in my first hour of reviewing it, have about maybe a dozen different tasks that we need to change and things we need to work on within the application. A little bit of that is just we defined, we were fairly open with our scope to start, and so we didn't flush out a concrete scope that we're going to follow to a T. We're going to be flexible, we're going to be dynamic, we're going to have what we're doing here is a fixed time, flexible scope project management philosophy. And so I need to spend a few more hours today, potentially the next couple days. The developer is going to be off the next 2 days, and he's going to be working again on what day would that be? 51. And so, we had a lot of stuff to do, and really need to, a lot of the stuff is, I'm going to have to pick what is required, what is optional, and start to build up multiple checklists on here's where we need to be by day 100, and here's where we need to be by, say, day 125. And then decide what we can do to fit the scope of our next 52 days into 52 days. So we need to fit the scope into the 100-day deadline. But just wanted to show you we have Heroku set up, we have Circle CI continuous integration, and we have a good start on building out the UI. So next steps for me, continue to review. I need to work on, need to have a designer come look at this again, probably in about 10 days. Some of it just doesn't have the look that I was going for. It looks a little too big, maybe not quite as polished. We need some more padding. Need to just bring back our designer from Many Pixels to take a look at this and give us some comments. We need to revisit a lot of little micro interactions in here aren't here yet. So those interactions, such as set up a recurring template. We've designed a substantial piece of UI to set up that, every week, every month, every 2 weeks, every 2 months, and that UI needs to be built out. So something like that might be more intensive than just adding drag and drop to the components or switching these buttons out. And so need to spend some time and be thoughtful about how big of bites we're going to take here before we have a product that is ready to be used in production by us at Harvest Profit and potentially other customers. So with that, just wanted to show you we're making progress. We have live code running on a Heroku server, which is a management layer that's on top of Amazon Web Services. And now we're going to really get down to the project management of deciding what tasks to complete and what changes to make, and iterating and continuing to improve the product we have here. So exciting to see it in the wild, but feeling a little, feeling definitely a little pressure as there's a lot of things to get done to meet my standards of what would be a production ready piece of software. So with that, have a wonderful day. Thank you for following me. Day 48 of starting a software company in 100 days. Would love to have you subscribe, like our videos, accept notifications, and continue to follow along. If there's anything I can answer for you, or if you have any comments for me, feel free to comment below. Would love to get to know more of you, and yeah, hopefully you can learn something along the way. And if you have lessons for me, feel free to comment away. I'm an open book. So we will talk to you tomorrow.